welcome to this episode of the Gunman Raw. So pretty straightforward job we got here. It is a Peugeot 3008. We've got a new door, 2 blends, and we're also blending that rear bumper here too. So luckily for me, it's just that little corner bit. There was a tiny little dent down here. The boss said fix it, and he said just blend the color out. So this color here is actually a solid, so it's not even a metallic, just a solid color. But obviously, like pretty much all colors these days are done in clear over base, unless they're commercial or industrial vehicles. But yeah, that's even, and these days, even on commercial vehicles like vans and utes and pickups or whatever you call them in America, we still paint clear over base because it's not worth using the direct loss system. We don't use it for anything. I mean, I think they've got half of a system sort of sitting out there in the back room, which no one ever uses, but as I say, it's literally just half a system. Half the tinters have been raped and taken off of it, but all good. Pretty straightforward job. It's a nice warm day today, so smashing the jobs out. This is my, technically, what is it? It's my 4th job for the day. I don't usually do this many jobs, but yeah, here we are. So the other jobs that I did, one was tiny and barely even counts as a job. It was just a couple of roof molding, sort of like that, but longer, off a Mercedes. So that's kind of cheating, even counting that. But the other one, another small one, that was one that I actually prepped up yesterday. That's what I started. No, I actually didn't start the job on that, down there. I started on a Nissan Navara Ute. That was the one that I did yesterday. And then, actually the very first job I did was a Mazda 3 bumper. That's right. It was like a last minute. It was a job that somebody else already did, but I think the customer came back and said, oh, we want our front bumper painted too. So I had to prep and paint that one first up in the morning. And here we are. So I just started on this one before my lunch break, and it's probably only 2:15 now. So probably only a couple of hours into this one, if that. But as I say, it's a pretty straightforward job. I checked the color. I found a color chip. I'm not even going to spray it out. We've got big blends. As I say, he giveth a blend and I shall take it. I know some people say, oh, it's a solid color, why are you blending? Like, man, makes my job easier. I'm going to do it. So the plan from here is to get the edge masking done, throw a piece of plastic over the car, and then get the wet on wet down. So I'm just going to wet on wet that door. The bumper's not going to need it. Prep work is pretty solid. I finished everything off with the 1000 grit. I'm still loving to use those grippy pads, 1000 grit grippy pads. I'm probably about due for doing a prep work video, but there's lots of people always around the workshop and the radio's on, so when I do my prep work videos, I can't do the normal talking into the camera like I do on these videos. So that's just a big part of the reason I don't do more prep work videos. I would like to, but it's just the way that these busy workshops are. Not everyone wants to be in my video, and you look like a bit of a nut job standing around the workshop talking to yourself. At least I'm in here in my little private room. I'm sure it's old news by now, but because you guys are like, I'm actually a fair bit ahead on these videos. So Omicron variant's out, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in Melbourne, because I'm one lockdown away from leaving. I've told you guys that, so I'll stay around. I don't want to have to leave because I got and I've been thinking about it, and there's lots to love about Melbourne, you know. It's not perfect, but nowhere is it? But yeah, I think we might just do one video on this job here rather than splitting it up. I mean, I may change my mind if I feel like the vid's getting a little bit too long, and it might do actually, come to think of it. I might even just break it up as a masking and a wet on wet video, and then do the base and clear in a separate one. But sometimes I just play it by ear, see what feels right. But yeah, thanks everybody for making this raw channel awesome for me. I've been really having fun uploading on this channel. This is nearly my main channel these days. I'm having more fun on this channel than my main channel. I think these things are, maybe not this exact model, but some of these Peugeots are the exact same thing as a Mitsubishi ASX. But as I say, I'm not sure if it's this exact model. This is the 3008. But they seem to be a reasonable car, I guess. But me, I'm happy driving my Corolla, man. Easily the best car I've ever owned. Absolute little ripper of a car. 1, 2, 3 full arm lengths, 3 and a bit. Perfect. That's what some guy said years ago. He goes, mate, it's those little details which you miss out in your main videos which makes this channel better than my main channel. I know some people do like it. Little things like that, sort of like 3.5 arm lengths on a car, like a general car. And he's right. I wouldn't think to say something like that in my main videos, you know, in my main channel videos. Although obviously certain things are better about that channel, the audio quality and all that. Yeah. No doubt there's some little details that you might pick up in this channel. Anyway, that's it. So I'm going to wet on wet that door, and then I'm going to go mix it up, so I'll be back in a second. I'll prep sol it down too. Rightio, so I just gave that a prep sol and a tack rag down, and we're right to get the wet on wet down now. So I might be able to drop that down. I do like this gun for my wet on wet. Gets it on nice and fast. But it doesn't overload it. It doesn't leave you with a thick orange peel or anything like that. A nice smooth finish. Alright, so I'm going to go out and clean that gun, and I'll be back and we'll continue on with the masking. Rightio guys, back to it. So let's get this masking done, and I really noticed that wet on wet flashing off very fast. Just making sure, no, it looks like it should be okay, but what can happen if it's drying too fast, the overspray from the inside lands on the outside and it can already be dry. So what you want is the outside to still be wet so the overspray sort of sinks into it. So keeping that in mind, I might start moving to slow hardener for the wet on wet. So with PPG, they do like mixtures. They've got like fast, medium, slow, and then accelerated thinners to put in your wet on wets or anything really, like your clears, your primers and all that stuff. So I might just start on these warmer days, just start using slow and medium or something like that, or even just slow like I say. I think I'm gonna just get away with it on that one, but sort of still not ideal, because as I say, like I could see that it had already started drying by the time I did the inside, you know. It's all good. I'm thinking of using the Supernova again on this one. It's been in the sin bin for about a year, and I bought it back out a week or two ago. I did do a video. I was spraying another Peugeot, actually. Yeah, it was. It was another, I think it was another Peugeot 3008, but it was a wagon version, like a station wagon. Whereas this is more, I guess, the SUV style. Maybe it wasn't a 3008, maybe it was a different model, but all of that aside, it doesn't really matter. I used it on that job and I wasn't really happy with it, but I still uploaded the video, and I'm glad that I did. So I ended up getting a little run. It wasn't terrible and it wasn't hard to get out. I was around one of those sort of tail light areas. A spot that, look, I mean, with my Pro Light, I could just about guarantee I wouldn't have got it, or DV1, or even my SATA, I don't think that I would have got it. But I did, and a few people left some comments and like, man, you know, you just got to set the gun up better. I mean, yeah, and I did set the gun up better. So what I ended up doing this time, and you probably saw the video I did yesterday anyway, but what I ended up doing this time was just setting it up by heart, not by the book, you know, just by feel, and I'm glad I did. So I think I ended up dropping the pressure right down to 20 psi, because one thing that I can tell you about, and this is something I kind of already knew, so if I had have treated it this way originally, I probably would have found this out earlier, but one thing I can tell you about, when you have a spray gun that you've got too much pressure through and the fluid is too thin, or one of those two, so either the fluid's too thin or the pressure's too high for the fluid, right, it will break the fan up and you get heavy top and bottom. So after just sort of going back to the drawing board and realizing and inspecting the fan again, I'm like, geez, that's what's happening at my old settings, right? So using the settings that I used to use, I started off that as a baseline, and I thought I'd re-inspect the fan, right? Have a look at it again, and I'm like, geez, it is actually a bit top and bottom heavy, you know. And then I thought, well, that makes sense why it's sort of so hard to tame the beast, so to speak, because anytime you go like that, you're exacerbating the amount that you're putting. Like, it's already a little bit top and bottom heavy, but then by twisting your hand a little bit, you're overloading it, and that's what I found. Any spot that you weren't 100% straight on, you would get a run. So what I did, I opened the fan up a little bit, and it was only by an extra half a turn. So originally I was on 1 3/4 turns out on the fan, so I'd wind the fan right in and come out 1 3/4 turns, but now I'm actually 2 1/4 turns out on the fan. So I opened the fan up a little bit, and dropped the pressure quite a lot, and also I wound the fluid in a little bit. I can't remember exactly where I ended up this time. I did check it last time, but I can't remember. I think I ended up just sort of winding it in one turn from full or something like that. But yeah, I'm really happy, and I feel confident. And also, so the two issues I was having previously is it was going through too much material, and it was scary. Like, you kind of always felt like you're on the edge of getting a run, you know what I mean? Like, it laid the clear down ultra smooth, but it went through too much material and it was scary. But I managed to nail both of those, so I'm not going through as much material anymore, and it doesn't feel as scary. So I'm going to use it again. I don't know, it's always good to grow as a person and as a painter and try new things, I think. The gun had been, as I said, in the sin bin for over a year, I think. I got to run on a quarter panel on a Benz. I actually did a video on the fixing of that run, but yeah, up until recently I hadn't used it, and I'm glad I did. And it was one of you guys that actually recommended it. They're like, come on Gunny, bring the Lotus back out, because it was just sitting at home looking pretty on my bench, my display bench in my little office. So that, and I'm using, I think I mentioned that I've got my dedicated base coat, solid color base coat gun there. What a beautiful gun that thing is. Very special gun to me. Sometimes I still pinch myself wondering if it's all been a big dream, that, you know, this whole YouTube thing, I can't ever, it's changed my life, and I got to thank you all for that, you know. Thanks everyone for watching and supporting the show. But yeah, the fact that I've got my own spray gun, my own DeVilbiss spray gun with my name on the side, or my logo on the side, it's pretty amazing. It really is, you know. The whole thing could blow up now and finish, and I would just be like, wow, wasn't that a ride? You know what I mean? But hey, I'm not giving up yet, so that's not going to happen. But you know, I'm sure you get my point. You know what I mean? And I'm being a good boy. I'm not talking about politics now, or at least turning it down a bit. Alrighty then. I think I might get some of this. Still recording. Oh, this cameraman in the warm days, I tell you what, it gets roasting. It's really, really hot. Yeah, I had a look at this mold here, and I just like, nah, you're not gonna get, it's not the kind of molding that you're going to get a bit of lift tape under, because it's got that that hard chrome piece there too close to it. If it was a larger rubber, you'd get lift tape under there, but I'm just gonna have to put fine line tape on there. Oh, there you go. Somebody actually asked me to include the fine line tape stage. There you go. You stay here. It's gone and started flipping up on me. Stay down. And you see, I gave myself a little tag to lift up when I'm done, and I'll just peel that off. Another thing, I always like to wear my gloves when I'm doing the prep sole stage. This prep sole's pretty harsh. It's the real prep sole. The prep sole that's called prep sole. And we're pretty right to go after that. Prep sole it, give it a tack rag. I've got the colour in the gun. So with the colour, I did just mix and paint. I didn't actually spray it out. I mean, as I mentioned before, this is a solid colour, so, you know, most of the time, well, back in the day, it was always, if it's a solid, you just go edge to edge, and you'd only get blends on metallics, you know. But these days, man, we just blend everything. It's just easier, it saves time. No doubt the boss gets paid for the blends anyway. So it's just sort of, you know, why waste all that time color matching when you can just blend it? But yeah, we've got a job coming up soon I'm really excited about. A viewer of my channel, he's got a older Subaru, sort of probably around 20 years old. I don't know the exact model, but it's a WRX, and he wants to get me to paint it, candy and flake job on it. So that's going to be really cool to do. I'll definitely be doing some YouTube vids on that one. So we're going to strip all the doors off, candy and flakes the door jambs, put them all back on, and then we'll we'll spray the car all as one so that we've got uniform candy and flake down the side. Anyway, I'll put this up in here. This is my little clean, half clean and dirty microfibers. I need to give them a clean down actually. Once I finish this job, if I've got spare 10 minutes, I'll take them out the back. So what I do, I just put them up on a couple of hooks out the back, spray some degreaser in them, and then just hose them down with the pressure cleaner. That works really well for those microfibers, and just reuse them again and again and again. So one of those things that it cleans the panels better when you're prep soling, and they're cheaper. They actually work out cheaper than running your standard prep sol wipe, because it's more of a one-off buy, you know what I mean? So thanks to Gabe from Motivated Painters for the tip, and thanks to all of you guys who kept telling me over the years to do it. But I can just tell, like, that's already very, very clean. So what was happening before, like, the little bits of lint were actually getting left behind from those cloths. But yeah, there you go. Awesome, man, awesome. Happy days. Nice and warm today, I tell you what. If anyone's got any tips for me for spraying EnviroBase in the warmer months, please do not be shy. Don't be afraid of letting me know. Now this one's a solid, so I'm not really concerned, but yeah, I'm not quite sure if there's any tips that I might be able to use to improve on the metallics. That's all we're doing here. But there was a little cut through. Well, it's actually a stone chip there. We'll put a coat on this first, I guess. So I mixed up the base coat with 20% reducer for this job here. As you can tell straight away, it's going to cover very well. We're only going to need 2 coats on this job. Coat on the inside is all we're going to need, because we've already got the wet on wet as a great ground coat. Yeah, my boss told me that the colour from there to there was bad, so he just said just blend it. Like the factory paint, he reckons the same on all the way around. So he said you can blend if you like, but you don't have to. And I'm just like, man, he giveth the blend and I shall take it. So yeah, get his air blower for a minute. Oh no, my clean checker. You'll be able to tell how warm it is today just by how fast it's going to dry. nice and fast. I reckon by the time I put a coat on the inside, the outside will be right to go. Been putting 20% reducer in even my metallics these days. So I mentioned I've got 15% reducer in this, 20% reducer in this. I've actually been putting it in 20 in my metallics too. It's a little bit tight up here. It's hard to get around. That's alright, we'll make it work. Just a nice wet coat. Just make sure we're going to be covered. I'll do all the edges again. To the base coat, we're done. Anyway, I'm going to turn that camera off and I'll see you here when we've got the supernova in my hand and we're going to clear this baby up. I tell you what, that camera was roasting, absolutely roasting when I just turned it off a minute ago. I just got the air blower and cooled it down for a second, changed the batteries over because that thing was roasting too. Anyway, giving these blends a quick tack rag. You probably noticed that I flipped it over to a nice clean section, but it always happens. The solid colors, they always feel a lot cleaner because you don't have the grit of the metallics. It's going to be a nice clean job. No need in tack ragging that, but I might do this one. Sort of a little bit of a nick there, but the Prepsol filled it up, so should the clear, because it was already out to the tailgate, so I just don't want to get too involved. The whole idea was just to blend it just through there, and I can even see through that plastic that it's a bit different. But anyway, we've got the Lotus in the gun, LBC 136 mixed up at 3:1 to 0.8. That's 0.8 with the reducer. I didn't viscosity cup it because I got a feeling it's going to be just fine because it's a warmer day, so that thins it out already. So, here we go. I just double checked these settings on it, and the fluid is winded all the way in and then 4 turns out, which is actually in about 2.5 turns. So you are restricting the pull of that trigger quite a bit. And the fan is 2.25 turns out, and see where the pressure is. So that's 20 psi. And you can, I don't know if you can see it, but I still reckon that top and bottom are a little bit heavier. As I was mentioning before,
That was actually what I was trying to get rid of. But this just feels a lot easier to control. Even the overspray is better. You know, if this was the old settings, there would just be a cloud of overspray everywhere. Feel like this is gonna run. I feel like I have full control over where the paint goes and how much paint goes there too. So I'm glad I did revisit this gun. Too good of a gun to have just sitting on your office bench, isn't it? I might even do a video on my main channel on this gun here. On my updated settings on this gun here. Yep, that's good, that's fine. And it's amazing, that's 20 PSI. Yes, believe it or not, that is 20 PSI. It's like if you did that with your Pro Light, you would have chunky orange peel and it would be slow. But wow, have a look at that. Anyway, I'm gonna go clean out the base coat gun and I'll be back here in a minute. Back to it. So it's been about 5 minutes and that's flashed off very quickly because of the extra heat. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a main channel video on the updated settings on this, because I know sometimes you might not be able to hear it properly on this channel. Anyway, let's get back to it. Leaving me with a nice tight finish. looking like I've definitely got this thing dialed in. 700 mils of clear is what I mixed up. And there's probably going to be about 50 mils left over, so it's not as excessive as before. It's definitely slowed it down a bit, which is kind of what I wanted. Might even wet that up just a little bit. Bit dry through the guts there. Not bad. You go away, Flo. I water usually I water as a fly swatter. Last thing you want is that fly landing in your spray in your paint job. What a ripper job, man! I'm wrapped with that, eh? That's really good. Wow. It's like having a new gun. I swear it is. Woo! It's like the best new clear gun just released on the market. But obviously not. I just finally figured out how to use it properly. That's a happy gunman. Go follow me on TikTok. I'm going to do a TikTok video on the beast, mate. Taming the beast. Special limited edition 884 of 3000. Probably the best looking spray gun ever made, man. Oh no, the Gunman one is better. Huh. Have a look at that, nice finish, man. I'm not even scared at all that it's gonna run. Even under those door handles, that stuff's gonna run, man. Nice factory looking finish. Hey, nice clean job too. As I said before, the solid colours always come up nice. Have a look at that finish, man. Can't fault that. Woo! Oh, it's sexual. It really is. That's a nice way to wrap up my Tuesday. Rightio guys, hopefully you enjoyed watching my video. If you want to support the channel, go buy some merchandise, follow me on the alternate media platforms, and until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out. Woo!